will be a recording. So it's already being recorded now. I will share everything. So all the resources, all the prompts, the links, this will all be sent to you a few hours after the workshop for those who will want to know a little bit more and have some resources. And also we have Nitya here. So you'll see our tech support, my beloved friend Nitya, will be answering questions in the chat, posting links throughout the event. And I also want to share, Nitya, we're right at the hour. So if you want to disable the waiting room, then it can be easier for those coming in to just come on in. And we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I almost have to disable the chat. There's too much activity, but please keep posting. I'll try not to look to distract myself, but my heart is just full seeing everyone that's here from all over. So welcome, welcome. We are right at the hour. And yeah, Nitya, if you're able to disable the waiting room, then I think we'll just keep bringing in folks. Okay, so welcome everyone. Because we have so much planned and we have so many people here today, I am going to start right now. And for those who are coming in, keep getting settled, keep sharing in the chat, but let us dive in. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, fantastic. Could everyone give me a thumbs up if they can see the screen okay? Fantastic, and if you can hear me okay. Wonderful. One moment. Okay, so welcome to the Mapping Your Heart event and workshop. So this is a very, very special workshop that I'm hosting, and I am so honored to do this with everyone. I have done many workshops in the past few years, and somehow this idea of mapping our heart felt so real, so relevant, and so needed. And I'm going to jump on in and just introduce myself. I see we're already at a little over 300. More people will be coming. And I want to just share for those that are here and those that are coming. I'm pretty sure most of you at least know me and know my name, but I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce myself. Hi, my name is Rukmini Podar, and I like to say that I am an artist whose work comes to this intersection of creative storytelling and mental emotional wellness. And I've been doing this work for it's been over 5 years now. I've been sharing art, posting it online, creating merchandise and calendars and cards, but really this work of teaching and facilitating groups of people to really draw their own emotions. That has really been since 2020, since the pandemic is really when I kickstarted that. And I couldn't be more grateful to do this type of work. I see that it's so needed, and I see that art and creativity is one of the most amazing tools for healing, for self-expression, and anyone can do it. So that's right, anyone, even if you haven't picked up a paintbrush in years or since you were a child, thank you for being here. If this is a little bit out of your comfort zone, a little bit of a stretch, thank you. My goal is that by the end of today, you will feel excited, you'll feel connected to your heart, and you'll create something that feels very true, very real, and very authentic. So with that, we will go on ahead. And I want to just share a little bit about materials. I know I got a lot of questions of what do we need for today. Basically, in simple terms, you just need yourself, a paper and something to color with. Most importantly, of course, is an open mind, an open heart, and a willingness to really try something new, to be a beginner again. And so I personally like to use watercolors. I have my little watercolor paper. Sketchbook paper is great for that. This is my humble watercolor set that I will be using, that I use for most of my work. And that's about it. Pencils, pens. We will do a little bit of journaling if you choose. So if you want to just grab even a pen or a piece of paper for that, you can go ahead and do that. And I'd like to also really encourage that the most important part of this workshop is our mindset behind it. So it's less about what we draw, and it's more about how we draw, how we show up. And so I like to encourage everyone to approach this workshop in a mood of process over results. And so what that means is that we really replace that inner perfectionism, that inner self-critic, and we try to just remove it and leave it at the doorstep. It'll be back when we're done. But we try to really make space for the beginner's mindset to try something new and to be messy, to feel like a child again, to express yourself without any inhibitions. That is the space that we're creating. It's a space that is ripe with honesty, authenticity, and one that is very, very healing to be in. So the three things is be a beginner, enjoy the process, and practice being soft on yourself. So again, somehow we're taught with creativity to, have a certain standard that has to look good. But what we're trying to do is softness, self-acceptance. And so with that, I want to also share this idea. I shared at the beginning of all my workshops that what we're doing here today is creative self-reflection. And so you might ask, what on earth is creative self-reflection? Well, simply put, it's creating space in your life. And we can do that in so many ways. So does anyone else here feel like they're constantly being hit with stimuli from life? Life is just coming after them, one after another. Please tell me I'm not the only person that feels like that, that there's no space to really respond to life, that there's only reaction, that something happens and we just react, and we can really go through our whole life in this mood of reacting and not responding. And so there's so many ways to respond, to create this space. That's where the magic happens, is when we make space in our life. And that can happen through meditation, through taking a walk in nature, through taking a deep breath. Actually, I think I could use that right now. I want to invite everyone actually to let's take a moment, take some space right now. And so take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Let's do that one more time, really soften into the moment. Take a deep inhale and gently release. Exhale slowly out, centering yourself in this moment. Beautiful. That was just like 10 seconds, and that's creating space. And so the way I love to create space in my life is through creativity. Is through art, it's through sketchbooking, it's through words. And that's how we're going to experience today's workshop, as a way to create space in our life. Because when we have this space, then we can really respond to life. Then we can slow down and we can drop into this moment and we can say, how is my heart really feeling? Am I just reacting because someone said this about me? Or is there some grief, something going on there? Or is there some feeling of a need that's unmet in me? Or is there something that I just feel really, really frustrated at myself with, that I can't bear to even admit? There's so much going on. And I like to say that there's worlds inside of us that have yet to be explored. However, art, writing, these are all amazing tools to go into our internal life. And that's what I love to do. That's what I feel like there's such a need to do. And that's what I hope we can all do today, is create that space by going inside and checking in with ourselves. And I hope that this can be a practice that we all try to cultivate, because the more we do this, the more we can really respond to life. So with that, we will share a little bit about what we're doing today. So welcome. We are going to be drawing our hearts. In some ways, that's very simple. I'm sure one of the first things we ever learned to draw as a child is a heart. And yet how profound is this idea, not even the idea, how profoundly deep is our hearts of everything we can hold. So this is an image I drew a few years ago. And this is really what got me thinking of this idea that the heart is full of everything, and the heart has space for everything. Sometimes it just feels like, okay, I only have space for this person and this people and this activity. But actually, we can expand our heart the more that we pay attention to our heart. It can fill and it can have space for everything. So if there's space for our shadows, there's space for our love, for our family, for our grief. And I like to think of this idea of the heart map. What an amazing tool. Don't we all wish we had a heart map? Don't we all wish we knew a little bit of what was going on in our hearts? Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be incredible if everyone had a map of their hearts, that when they saw another person, they could just give it, say, hey, this is what's going on for me. Oh, okay, I understand what's going on. This is what's happening for me. How how deep our shared humanity would be to have the sense of real, authentic, honest sharing. And so this image is the inspiration for what we're going to be doing today. And again, before we jump into that, we're going to be doing a series of small warm-ups of journaling. And finally, the last 45 minutes, I'm just going to give to you. We're going to play some music, and this is your time. So again, before we get started, I want to just share that this is your creative self-care time. You carve time out of your day to be here. And so what's most important is that you feel comfortable, that you feel connected, and that you feel inspired. So I am quickly going to just peek at the chat. Okay, lovely. Everyone is here on board. And we are going to jump into our first exercise. So is anyone here familiar with something called an emotion wheel? You just raise your hand if you've seen. Okay, fantastic. This is one of my favorite emotion wheels that I've seen. It's done by a friend named Avan Muji. And I'll post a link. Actually, Nitya, if you can just share a link to her website and her emotion wheel. I want to encourage you to use this wheel as a resource. It's an amazing tool to just give the vocabulary for everything that we feel, because again, we are feeling things constantly, whether we know it or not, but what we lack in is the language sometimes to express, what is this? What am I feeling? And she does this amazing way of dividing our core emotions into 6 different categories, from sadness, fear, anger, disgust, joy, and genius. And so again, there's the main emotions, and you can see how it gets more and more nuanced, the different emotions that we feel. There's even more emotions than this that exist, if you can believe it, but this is a good place to get started. And what I want to just share is to give us a moment to check in with ourselves and see, what are we feeling in this moment? And what have we been feeling recently? And of course, we feel so many different things. We have so many different emotions and experiences, but we can also just check in a little bit. And so with that, I want to encourage you all to, we're going to enter just a very quick guided meditation to think about these emotions and to just check in with our own heart. So I'm going to just stop sharing for a moment. Okay, nice to see everyone's faces back here again. And I want to encourage you to, wherever you are, you can come to a comfortable seated position. And you can either rest your hands on your thighs or on your heart. And if you feel comfortable, you can lower your gaze or gently close your eyes. And we'll just take a moment to first check in with our breath, with our body, because before we access our emotions, we first need to ground ourselves in our body. And so with this, take a moment to feel your feet on the floor under you. Feel the ground, whatever floor is there, touching your feet, and connect to your breathing. So take a deep belly breath. Inhale deeply, filling up your lungs, and slowly exhaling it all out. Again, taking a deep inhale in, filling your chest with air, and exhaling it slowly out, feeling your abdomen coming into the body. And continue this for a few more breaths. And what we're doing is connecting to the body, taking a deep inhale and a deep exhale, reminding yourself that you are safe and you are present and you are capable to connect with your body and connect to your heart. So taking again another deep inhale and a deep exhale, feeling your body relax with every exhale, feeling your body settle and your mind begin to quiet and slow down. Feel yourself drop into your heart space. This space of your heart is so deeply sacred and sometimes a mystery. What happens in here? Who is in your heart? What takes up space in your heart? Taking a moment to think of everything that fills your heart, the people that are close to you, and maybe the people who have hurt you, the people that are hard, that it's hard to have relationships, maybe they also fit into your heart. And then taking a moment to think of what you've been going through in this season of your life. What specific challenges has there been in your life from others, from your environment, and from your own mind? How does that take up space in your heart? And then taking a moment to think of all that makes your heart feel free and light and buoyant. What is that that makes your heart feel so free? Is that the sound of a young child, your own child or family member laughing? Is that the sense when you meet an old friend after a long time? Is that seeing the beautiful ocean, taking a walk in the woods, just coming into that place of what makes my heart feel free? Allowing whatever images to come through your mind, staying with this question, what makes my heart feel free? And now, what makes my heart feel alive? So again, if you feel comfortable, you can just journal this, but I encourage you also to just stay in this space and just be in the space of the question, what makes my heart feel alive? Think of specific moments, being out, walking on the grass, looking up at the clouds, being with a ton of friends, reunions, traveling, or maybe just being at home on a quiet morning with a warm cup of coffee and just feeling fully content. So again, thinking of these questions of how your heart is in different states. Our heart can sometimes feel buoyant and light and free, and sometimes our heart can feel heavy and dark and just really, really numb. And that's also an experience. And both, whether your heart is heavy or your heart is light, are both completely valid and true, and both can even happen at the same time. And so again, we're just going to come back to our body, to our breathing, taking a deep breath together and a deep exhale. And again, all we did was visit the heart space for just a few minutes, just to access this mystery of the heart and thinking of the heart as a landscape. So how beautiful to think, if my heart was a landscape, what would it be? What forests would be there? What mountains, what valleys, what oceans, what lakes, what people? This is a meditation that we are going to explore through our art and through our writing. So if you are ready, you can come back to your body. You can gently open your eyes. You can just look around your surroundings and come back into this space with these other 500 beautiful people that we're all connected with all over the world. If anyone wants to share in the chat just how that experience was, you can go ahead and do that. Again, this is a very brief meditation, but sometimes all you need is a couple minutes to come back to ourselves. And from this meditation, we are going to explore through our art and through our creating. I see some people saying that it was very grounding. It was wonderful. Lots of tears. It was amazing. Emotional. Yes, the heart is the living space of our emotions. And the heart is the space of gratitude. So something I want to share, especially because we're, at least in the United States, we're in the middle of Thanksgiving weekend. We're coming to the very end. And this idea of gratitude has been here. And I was realizing that the space of gratitude lives in the heart, but to access gratitude, you have to feel everything. So gratitude isn't just a state of, I'm just happy and I have to be happy and blissful, but gratitude is a state of paying attention. Isn't that amazing? What we pay attention to, we become grateful. So you can become grateful for your hardships, for your challenges, for your griefs, for your heaviness. And when we make space to feel all of this, then we feel grateful, because we are paying attention to our heart. And that's all the heart wants. It doesn't need solutions. It doesn't need to be patted on and to told that everything is going to be okay. But the heart just needs to be paid attention to. So thank you for being part of that experience. And now we are going to finally get drawing. And we're going to start with a warm up. And so again, what I'm going to share now is for the next 15 minutes, we are going to draw 4 different hearts. And again, you can just spend a minute on each one. but I'm going to share my screen and just show you exactly what we're doing. So again, we're going to focus on these 4 hearts. If you feel so inspired, you can just choose one. It's better to go deeper than try to do everything, or you can do all 4. And the heavy heart, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What color? So again, remember that emotion wheel. What is heaviness? Is it dark? Is it kind of wet? What colors are it? What textures? Maybe you get like a blunt pencil and kind of, you can use anything that you want. So what does a heavy heart feel like and look like for you? You can make it into a metaphor. Is it covered in bricks? Is it kind of closed in a cage? So that's the heavy heart. And again, this is a warm-up, so don't spend more than a few minutes on it. It can be a small little heart. It can be whatever you want. And the next one is the soaring heart. So remember we talked about the heart that feels buoyant and free. So what does that look like to have a soaring heart? What color is it? Is it beautiful blues? Does it have wings? Or maybe the soaring heart is just gigantic, or maybe there's many that make it. So again, we're really allowing ourselves to get simple, but get specific, and using these very basic creative principles. So color, size, texture, pattern. So that's the soaring heart. The next one is the empty heart. And it's best to even connect with an experience. When have I felt like I've had an empty heart? Maybe I've had nothing left to give. What does that look like? How small is it? What color is it? And maybe your hearts aren't even in the shape of a heart. Maybe they're spiky, maybe they're circular, maybe they have holes in it. You express your heart as it is. Maybe it's totally different. I've had people get crushed leaves and do things, or collages. Like, this is your heart, your time. But my encouragement is just don't be in your head about it, because this is just a warm-up. We're spending maybe 3-4 minutes on each one as a way to start putting it on paper. What are these hearts that I feel? What would they look like? And the last one is the flourishing heart. So what does the flourishing heart look like? The heart that's in bloom, the heart that feels alive, the heart that's expanding. What does that look like? What colors, what patterns, maybe there's certain details. It's completely up to you how you want to draw this. You can even take a sheet of paper and divide it in 4 quadrants if you like to keep things organized. Or again, it's totally up to you. You can choose one heart. You can do it however you like. This is your workshop. And finally, I also want to give a little time for reflection. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a moment and turn on some music, and we're going to draw these hearts. And I'll encourage you to just share one of these to reflect on. So you can either just reflect in your mind, or if you have a sheet of paper and a pencil, you can just journal that when was a time in my life that my heart felt like this? So for example, if I choose the soaring heart, when did my heart feel like this? And get specific. Who was I with that makes my heart feel like this? What do I do when my heart feels like this? What happened? How long did I feel like that? And do I want to feel like that again? So does this sound clear to everyone? Give me a quick thumbs up on your camera if that sounds good, if this makes sense. Okay, I think we're all on the same page. So again, I'm going to just stop sharing for a moment. And Nitya, if you want to just share those 4 prompts in the chat, that way people have access to it, we can do that. And I'm going to give just maybe another 12 minutes or so to just immerse and be in this question. Thank you, Nitya. And of course, for anyone asking, everything will be recorded and sent afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead, turn on some music, and we will get started. just checking, is this, how many people would like another 10 minutes? And end it up. I think we can allowed, okay. I think we can do another 10 minutes into this. So we'll go on for that and give a little bit more time because I can see a lot of absorption in this exercise. And I want to give some time for us to explore the different hearts and even to journal a bit if you want. Okay, so we'll do, and a few people said, what does soaring heart mean? Yes, soaring is a very visual word for flying. Flying light, free. So when does your heart feel alive, very free and unburdened? So for example, the heavy heart, soaring heart is the opposite. Another question, what does empty mean? Empty is when your heart feels like it has nothing left to give. Or you could think of it when your heart is very numb, it doesn't feel anything anymore. So again, if you don't know what these words mean exactly or can't relate with it, you don't have to draw it. Try to stick with the ones that you can really relate with. There is a difference, but it's up to your interpretation. For me, heavy heart is really burdened, really full of a lot of grief and sadness, and empty is just nothing quite left in it. Again, up to your discretion. You can even add your own heart. There are so many more adjective words that we can use for our heart. So I want to encourage you that if you're not quite relating with these prompts, come up with your own. Okay, we'll have 10 more minutes and then we'll move on. So just a few minutes, we'll wrap up this exercise. Again, this is a warm-up, and it's just a way for you to start playing around with your colors, your brushes, this idea of hearts. And if you've already finished, you can take this time to maybe reflect and just journal on what you've written and that journaling prompt that Nitya had posted in the chat earlier. So we're going to give it a couple more minutes, and then we will move on to the next exercise. And for those who may be already done, if you want to share, or anyone who's even in process, if you want to share a little of your experience in the chat of what was that like, and maybe what surprised you. Was that easy to do? Was it actually a little hard? Did you like what you made? Was there something that came out of nowhere and surprised you? We'll just take a few minutes again as people are finishing up to post in the chat and share a little bit about your experience. Okay, so some people said it was calming, it was very helpful, it felt freeing. How the colors she used for flourishing are not the colors I often use. That's awesome. Sandra said, I was surprised how deeply connected the emotions were for me. Heather, I was surprised how it flowed out as if my heart was waiting and ready to be shared with me. Oh, I just love that, Heather. I was actually thinking about that for this workshop, that many of us, we hesitate to draw and express because we feel like we don't know how, and that's a very mental thing, but the heart is ready. The heart is just ready for the opportunity to express itself. Sandra, it was surprisingly emotional. My heart was heavy today and it was hard to do the others. Yeah, the ideas come to me quickly, but it was hard to get my emotions to come across on paper. Yeah, again, sometimes simplicity is the way to go, just a color or just a shape. Leslie, I dropped my resistance to drawing, which was liberating. That itself is such a win. Can we see the wheel link again? Yes, in a few minutes, Nitya, you can post up the wheel link. Justine, really allowed myself to really be messy. The more I leaned in, the more it continued to come. Beautiful. Thank you. Again, this is why this warm-up is here, to just get us into this mode. And before we move into the final exercise, which is the actual mapping of our hearts, let's use what we learned from this. And for those who felt more free from being messy, lean into that, get messy. Do something even if you don't understand it. Sometimes I like to tell people that if you don't know what to draw, just put things on the paper, put shapes and patterns and let your wrist be free, and something will come. Some people said, surprised how many emotions came into heavy hearts. Beautiful. I felt proud I could recognize these hearts after so much and express it in this way. Wonderful. Much easier than I thought it would be. My heart spoke up immediately. This is wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your experience with drawing these hearts. I don't know if anyone got a chance to do a little journaling or reflection. If you didn't, no worries, because we'll send these prompts and everything again to you later. These are just tools for you to get started. These practices can be done as much as you want, and they're always so valuable. Fantastic. And again, my only little tidbit I would give is that if you feel a little stuck or this didn't come out the way I want, just put things on the paper, put colors, and see what it tells you. Beautiful. I'm so happy to hear all of this. So before we move on, I want to just give an opportunity for everyone. If you feel so inspired, to turn on your cameras and maybe take your little heart or what you drew and just post it up to the camera. And just so we can get a little moment and just take a second and have a little gallery of hearts. Oh my God, how beautiful is this? We need to take some screenshots. Wonderful. So yes, put your heart up. Oh, amazing hearts. Look at this. How beautiful. Each one is so different. Just keep it up there, and maybe with your other hand, you can go through the gallery and just take a second to see all these beautiful hearts that everyone has drawn. Every single one is perfect and complete because this is our expression of our hearts. the colors, the textures. This is our way of taking a few minutes and practicing that presence, that stillness of dropping in. Thank you so much for sharing. I'll share at the end, but we're going to have an opportunity to actually share more of what we drew and maybe create a little gallery of hearts. But again, what we're practicing is not to create perfect, beautiful so-called artwork, but to create honest work. And more than anything, we're practicing presence. This is just another tool to create space in our life, right? It's another tool to drop into our heart. And if anyone struggled with this exercise, if it was hard, you're not alone, and just trying is very important. Maybe for many of us, we haven't even accessed the heart in a long time. Maybe for some of us, it doesn't even feel very safe to know what's going on in there. But just the act of taking time and saying, okay, heart, tell me what's inside. Let's have a conversation. That itself is healing. And that's something we can do more and more. So thank you everyone for sharing these hearts. They are so beautiful and so moving to see. Okay, so with that, we are going to move on with the next part of our exercise. Okay, so hooray, we are finally getting into our heart map. And so I want to start off by showing an example of something that I drew some time ago of my own heart map and how totally varied these maps can be. So again, just to recap, we've already explored and we did a little meditation to access our own hearts and to feel our bodies. So again, before we go into thinking and feeling, we have to be in our bodies. So even if you want to take a moment to sit up straight, to feel your feet on the floor, to take a deep breath, just getting in touch with the sensations of the body is the first step. And then after that, we took a moment and we thought about different experiences we had with our heart. When our heart felt heavy, when our heart felt light, when our heart was blossoming, when our heart was empty. And we took a moment to just translate that on paper. And so now we're going to go to the final part of our workshop, which is really to draw a map of our heart. So we get to think of our heart as a large terrain, as a beautiful landscape. And we can use this metaphor and take it as far as you like of what would my heart look like as a landscape. And even in the chat, if you want to think, okay, if my heart was a landscape, what would it be? Would your heart be a wide, large, endless ocean that's peaceful and beautiful? Would your heart be a deep, mystical forest? Would your hearts be a bustling city full of so many people all living on top of each other and yet loving each other up? Would your heart be maybe just a small bud, just blossoming but not quite there? Maybe your heart would be something that's been cracked wide open and yet there's light coming through, but it's been through a lot. So we can take a moment to think, if my heart was a terrain, a landscape, what would it look like? And again, we're leaving the mind, the place of thinking and needing to be right, and we're coming into the heart, the place of intuitive creativity and intuition. And we are going to just start placing our heart on paper. And the idea is to divide our heart into little categories, or really to do whatever you like with it. So I'm going to show some examples on the screen. So for example, you see here, the map of my heart is divided into the forest of cherished memories, my love for nature, my ocean of emotion, the corner where my family is, swirling clouds of disappointed expectations, maybe the corner where I hide my darkness. There's space for it all. So this is just a playful, fun way to approach our own heart maps. And I'm going to show a few more examples to give you some ideas on how to draw this. So again, first of all, it can just be as simple as a heart, or it can look like anything. A heart does not need to look like this shape. It can be anything that you express. But if you want to keep it simple, just take a sheet of paper and begin by just drawing a large heart, maybe in a pencil. And you can even, with a light pencil, you can draw little sections of it and then just fill it up with different colors. So again, you don't need to know what's going in your heart yet. Just get started and just put colors in different areas. Maybe there's a little pocket that's yellow, maybe a pocket that's black, maybe a pocket that has polka dots, and just fill it up if you don't know what to write, especially. And then after you do that, then you can start filling it in. So I'm going to just show a few examples to give some ideas, and then I'm going to leave it open-ended, open for your interpretation to draw your own heart maps. So for example, these are from a few of my students a few years ago, and you'll see the top one is actually like a landscape. She used different sceneries, whether it was a sea of nostalgia, a city of passion, an island of loneliness, a desert of fear and anxiety, mountains of strength and courage, a swamp of obsessive feelings, oasis of contentment, a valley of rest, and a forest of overthinking. So how beautiful is that? If you're getting any ideas, you can even jot them down on another paper and just start writing. You can think of the emotions that came up for you earlier, if that's a place to start, and you can start writing certain emotions and then fill in the heart with that. But again, your heart, there's no rules to how to make it. It can be however you want it. You can fill it with people, you can fill it with emotions, you can fill it with these little metaphors. This bottom one of mapping my heart, I'll show you. This is also a beautiful example of, the heart has room for everything, whether it's the good things, my space of my inner child, or the things that had caused hurt. Sea of hurt, a dream of hopes and future, a garden of growth, bottled up emotions. I love that. Treasure chest of memory, family, abundance of love to give. So it's completely up to you how you want to draw your heart, what colors you want to use. You can reference that emotion wheel and choose different colors for different emotions. You can create different textures and patterns. And again, just get into that moment of really being intuitive and just putting whatever comes on paper. Here's another one that's quite beautiful. And this one you can see it's all just like, there's no boundaries or sections or outlines. So that's another way to do it, to just fill it in. It can be with different patterns and landscapes or just colors. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Another example, again, how beautiful is this? It's colors, and each one is categorized in something that fits into your heart. So if you are feeling a little stuck on where to start, my suggestion is to just keep it simple, draw hearts, and maybe section it out, and just get your colors, your markers, your pens, and then just fill it in. You don't even need to know what goes in. That's my recommendation. Don't overthink this. Get colors, get markers, get pencils, and just start filling it in. And I'm going to turn on music. This is going to be almost half an hour. So this is the largest part, that this is your 20-25 minutes to just immerse yourself in your heart map. Try not to need to know the answers and try to live in the questions. Try to be in the question of your heart. That's the most beautiful place to be. And that's the place of all richness and discovery. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. Check in on everyone. Give me a thumbs up if this all makes sense to you. You're ready to draw your heart map. You're going to get going. Okay, fantastic. So get started, get going, grab a piece of paper, draw your heart. And again, when your mind starts to come in the way and get into that thinking mode, just have fun. Just get messy. The messier you are, the further away you'll get from that overthinking mode. So lean into the messiness. Grab several pieces of paper if you want to draw a bunch. Just do what you can to take up space, to be intuitive, to get messy, and to tap into that heart space. So Charanti is asking, what are we going to do? We're going to draw our heart map. Get a piece of paper, draw a heart, and fill it in. Fill it in with colors, with patterns. And as you're filling it in, you can begin to label it that, oh, this is the place that I feel anger. This is the place that I feel deep gratitude. And you can fill it in however you want. I hope that all makes sense. We're going to go ahead. I want to give you a good 20-25 minutes of deep immersion. If you have any questions, you can post it on the chat for Nitya. And I'm going to play some music. And this is your time. Enjoy and have fun. If you are still in deep absorption in your heart map, keep going. We have a few minutes to wind down. But as you share and as you keep drawing, I'm just going to share a little bit, share some updates, connect with everyone here. We have about 15 minutes until the event officially closes. But of course, this is your time. You can keep going with this. You can keep drawing heart maps. Maybe some of us had really beautiful, freeing experiences. Maybe some of us feel that, oh, I only started to scratch the surface. There's so much more to be explored. Maybe some of us feel really satisfied with what we created. Maybe some of us not as much. Maybe it's a little frustrating. Maybe it's not quite where we wanted. But everyone who is here has made time with their hearts, with whatever emotions come up, and that is an amazing success. And so thank you, everyone who is creating and sharing. You can keep using this time for a few more minutes. If there's anyone who is close to finishing or feels complete, I wanted to end with a little prompt, a question to take us with. And that is, if you could tell or share anything with your heart, what would it be? If you could share one word with your heart that your heart needed to hear right now, that your heart wanted to hold and just keep it in there almost as an affirmation to keep repeating, what would it be? I saw someone earlier who wrote, what was it? Explore and accept. And it made me think, yeah, these can also be a space to just even write, to write affirmations, to write words. Oh, I'm seeing some growing, deep love, listen, healing and acceptance, safety, precious, innocence, playfully safe, authentic, you are worthy, safe. I would tell my heart, stay open. Thank you. Don't give up. Oh my gosh. This is just too beautiful. I am proud of you. There is space, courage, kindness, safety, patient. They're coming like a waterfall. Be patient, wholeness, playfulness, softness and grace, compassion, safety and light. It's all connected, worthy, becoming, in the flow, hold on, stay open, courage, I love you, hold on to hope, stay vulnerable, listen. Wow, what does it feel like to hear all these words coming? This is what our heart is longing to hear. And so many times, the one person we don't give these words to is our own self. We're in it together. I see you. I'm going where I'm supposed to be. I am your witness. You can do anything. You are becoming calm, intuition. There is space for you to bleed out. Yes, gratitude, love. Thank you all for sharing this. You are the best part of me. I love it. The heart is infinite. The universe is infinite. I hold your true self. All of you is good. Yes, there's no bad parts, right? All of us is good. You are strong. As long as it's life, grow. Meet everything with tender courage. Beautiful. I love these groups. I love hosting this because I feel like I get the most out of it. Just the collective wisdom and love that's in this group is so powerful. Thank you all who have been part of this. Again, if you're still drawing and creating, go for it. I know some of us would want more time for these exercises, so please keep going. I got a few questions asking, when will the recording come? Yes, you can watch it as many times as you want. You can do these workshops as many times as you want. Probably it'll take at the end of the day, maybe give it another 6-7 hours or so. And so tomorrow or later today, you can get a chance to get the resources, the music, the links, everything like that. And I hope everyone here enjoyed it. Please don't leave because there's a lot of really important updates coming. I want to just start by saying that please, let's share these hearts. Let's create a whole gallery of our heart maps. And so what does that mean? Nitya, I want to just, if you want to share a link that I created. So this is a space because we can't all share what we created in this space with all 400 of us. But I created a Google form where you can literally take a photo and upload your heart map and even write a little description. And my hope is to just make a whole gallery of these heart maps and just create this space where we can just be real with our hearts and have that humanity celebrated. I'm going to share my screen right here. Okay, so again, thank you for doing these heart maps, for creating it. I'm sure many of them aren't done. That's okay. But I want to share this. So Nitya, if you get a chance to post it in the chat, there's going to be a link that's in the chat. I'll email it also to everyone. And this is a link to a Google form where you can literally just upload a picture of your heart map. You can write a description if you want. You don't have to. And so this is a nice way to make this a very collaborative experience that, you know, it's really when we're with ourselves, we heal, but also when we're in a collective community, that healing is even more powerful. And so that's why I love doing this with such large groups, because we're having our private time and we're in a collective community that is supporting each other. So that is something I really wanted to share. And most important, I want to share the news that I am doing a course this December, and it's a 3-week course. It is brand new. I just developed it, and it's inspired by my work in drawing my parts. So for those who have followed me on Instagram, the last few months, I've been exploring this idea of the parts of me and drawing it. And I have actually created a lot of exercises and work in how to go deeper into ourselves by understanding our different parts of ourselves, by learning to understand them, have compassion for them, and accept all parts of ourselves. So this is a powerful course that begins literally next Sunday. So we can just keep doing this every Sunday, and it's 2 hours. It'll be around the same time. And so every Sunday for 3 weeks, December 4th, December 11th, December 18th, everything will be recorded, and it's there will be a workbook to come with every different lesson. I will be here and available. There will be a beautiful community. It's only open to about 25 people. So please, please, if you are interested, sign up as soon as possible. We are getting started next Sunday. I'm really piloting it this month because I wanted to ship it out there during this December time when we could all use a lot of self-care, creative self-care and love. And I will, if you can't do it this month, I'm doing it again in January. So again, it includes 2-hour weekly sessions every Sunday, workbooks with exercises, weekly sketchbook prompts. So that way, this isn't just something we do once and forget, but in 3 weeks, we can develop a habit. We can develop a whole sketchbooking process where we can go deeper into this work of healing ourselves through art. And of course, there'll be an interactive community to keep us supported. So there's 3 different classes. The first one is understanding the parts of ourselves, exploring the emotions within our bodies. So getting familiar with who we are. The second part is bringing our parts to life. So really creating characters for each part and cultivating deep self-compassion and self-empathy. So self-compassion is no longer a concept, but an active practice that we will be doing through creativity. And I will be leading you every step of the way. And the last one is giving voice to our parts. So really practicing deep self-acceptance, learning to have these conversations with the parts of ourselves. So even today, how we concentrated on the heart, and we even said, what would we tell the heart? Really going deeper into this really powerful practice. And so the price is $249. It's limited just to a small cohort of people. If you can't do it this month, I'll also be doing it January 8th to 22nd. And I really wanted to share it with this group because I'm not doing any other workshops. So usually I have a lot of workshops people can drop in. I wanted to offer this free one to make it as accessible as possible. And then for those who want to continue this work, we're starting next Sunday. There should be a link that's posted, and I'll email more information. I'll post it on my Instagram, but this is the big reveal. I'm sharing it with everyone here. And I also want to share a little screenshot of what it looks like. So when you purchase the course, you get access to the Mighty Networks or the Mighty Network space. And it's an incredible space. I've done a lot of courses there in 2020, 2021, and you can RSVP for events, you can get updates, you can post your work, you can get feedback from others. It's an amazing place to just get started, and amazing, almost like a private space for you to really cultivate this. So if you liked this workshop, if it was valuable to you and you want to continue this work with me, I would absolutely love to have you. If you have any questions, you can email me, and you can reply to the email that I'll send later or post it on the chat. And so that is really what I wanted to share with all of you today, the diving deep. So we are diving deep. If today felt like scratching the surface, we imagine 3 more weeks of this creative self-care every Sunday, wherever you're at. And again, if you can't make it, they're all recorded, so you can go at it at your own pace, and you can be supported and encouraged and really just have a blast reconnecting to yourself, to your creativity, to the parts of yourself, and making this idea of self-care not just a concept and not just an idea, but something we practice together as community. So thank you. And with that, I want to share also a little bit more. If anyone wants to support me, support my work, I have a new calendar up, 2023 calendar that comes with stickers. So Nitya, you can also post some links to my store. I have limited amounts. So if you want to get any gifts for yourself and others, now is the time. Calendars are only 15. The tricky thing is that international shipping is really hard. So I get a lot of, responses saying, why is it so much? I unfortunately can't control that. If you are in the States, it's much cheaper. But if you live elsewhere, then I just recommend going with the course because there's no shipping, nothing there. Everything is same. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to just end it there. And also remember that whenever you feel complete with your drawing of your heart map and you want to share it, please go for it and share it in the Google form. I think that would be amazing to see everything that everyone created. And I see a lot of activity in the chat. Okay, so thank you everyone for being part of this. Thank you for this offering. Thank you for being here. I hope to stay connected with you all. You can find me on Rock and Roxy on Instagram, and you can connect with me through my website. I have an email form. You can just send out a message through there. And before we leave, I know everyone is heading out. Let's do a little group photo, which means take your hearts if you feel comfortable, and you can bring it to your screen. And let's take a moment to just be with everyone's hearts. So again, and then Nitya, if you're able to take a little screenshot of this while we're doing it, we can also share it online later. Oh my God, look at these beautiful hearts. I am just seeing color. I am seeing so much expression and beauty, and it all looks so different. You can take a moment and just go through the gallery and get a glance of this collective community. That's what community is, being able to show up as yourself and being able to really hold space for each other's hearts. So, oh my God, I could spend all day looking at this. I am so proud of you all. Thank you so much. Please, if you get a chance, post and upload on the gallery, because I want to showcase this on my Instagram, on my newsletter, these amazing hearts. I am so proud of all of you. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm going through all the pages. Oh my goodness. Wow, so much beauty. Thank you all. Thank you everyone who is here and part of this. I'm going to keep the space open for a few more minutes for anyone who wants to just take a look at the hearts, who wants to just be in the space, leave any comments and messages. If you have any questions, again, just email me. Thank you all for being here. I am loving these hearts. Look at how beautiful they are. Okay, so it's been exactly 90 minutes. Thank you all again. This has been such a treasure. If you do feel inspired to continue this journey with me for the next 3 weeks, please do register, because I would love to continue this work. This is what I love doing. This is what makes my heart come alive, is being in groups like this and being able to continue. So it's not that we just come once, we draw and we leave, but that we go deeper and deeper into who we are. We support each other and breaking out of all of these limitations and boundaries. And we do it through art. We free that inner child and we meet all the other parts of ourselves. So for those who want to head out and need to go, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, of your afternoon, of your night. Take care. And to everyone else, we'll see you soon. Feel free to share your image on Instagram, take it on your stories, tag me so I can reshare it. And keep your eyes open in your inbox for some more resources coming up soon. And take care. Bye, everyone. I'll just leave the virtual door open for those who want to leave. Oh my gosh, thank you everyone for all your messages. Take care, everyone.